On today's show, Buddy Hield and the Indiana Pacers working on a trade. Where does Buddy land? And of course, we've got on today's Locked On NBA. Let's go.
You are Locked On NBA, your daily NBA podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome. You are Locked On to the NBA. My name is Nick Angstadt, host of the Locked On Mavericks podcast. Thanks for being part of the show and making Locked On NBA your first listen every day. Be an everydayer. Subscribe, follow for free. Just search Locked On NBA wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. But the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day and to comment anything below. Let us know in the comment section. Where does Buddy Hield land? Requested a trade, maybe? Or they're working on a trade? It seems like the Pacers requested a trade for him. This is kind of where we're at with that.
Anybody want to trade this guy?
You're joining me, as always, on a Thursday. Host of Locked On Bulls. What you got for me, Pat the Designer?
There's no basketball news, but after today with the Bears, I'm just so glad to be talking about basketball.
Chicago's own Pat the Designer. ESPN Radio Chicago Bears insider.
I've managed to not ruin my career today, so
which is a feat in and of itself today in Chicago Bears. Whew. Yeah, let's talk about the basketball news today. We'll talk about Buddy Hield. We'll talk about I got some trades I'm going to throw Pat's way and see where he thinks Buddy Hield should go, so you can listen to those. And of course, we've got Counted Up, where we count out the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. Charles Barkley calling out a Lakers star, saying it's never going to happen.
Terrible.
Gilbert Arenas putting Hakeem the Dream on blast.
Why'd you call him Gilbert Arenas? What's that? Was that?
Oh, is there only one? There's only one S on the. Sorry. I had it written. There's only one S in it. Okay. And then the most delusional things NBA players have ever said. I'm gonna throw Pat's way and count it up. I was trending on Reddit this week. But first, I want to start here with Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield of the Indiana Pacers, according to Shams Charania of The Athletic, after contract extension negotiations stalled out, Buddy Hield and the Indiana Pacers have started a dialogue to find a trade partner with another team, league sources say. The Pacers did offer Hield an extension in recent weeks, but it's believed their proposal did not make the 7-year guard feel desired, league sources said. Buddy Hield, $19.3 million this year. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. He's eligible for an extension. Sounds like they offered him an extension. He didn't like the extension that they gave him. Where are we at with Buddy Hield and the Pacers? So now they're working on a trade for him.
I mean, listen, I'm a little shocked because I feel like as much as much of you've done in Indiana, like now's the time you want to get out when people actually think the team's going to be good. Like it's a little bit surprising from that aspect of it. But I mean, listen, Buddy Hield at a minimum is a good shooter. The Bulls know very well that he's somebody that can go out there and when he gets hot, he's somebody who could be unstoppable from the 3-point line. Strong teeth game. I don't know. I don't have much else for Buddy Hield. You know what I mean? Like, he's an elite shooter and teeth.
Strong
you know what
teeth
I mean?
Game.
He takes a real bite out of crime. You know what I mean?
He's some are saying today on Twitter the second best shooter in the NBA. Steph and then him.
Wow.
Who you got?
I'd put Dame above him.
Fair. I think that's fair.
I'd put Dame above him.
I think I'd still put Clay above him. I think I trust Clay more than him.
He's in category of top 5. When he gets hot, he really is. Yeah. He is unstoppable. Oh, that's tough. I'm trying to think. Yeah, do I still got Clay? I feel like Clay's the same thing, but just older now. Like when he gets hot at this point, he's unstoppable, but D-Book, but that's more mid. That's more mid-range.
You're saying he's just in the middle as a shooter. He's a mid.
No, I was saying mid-range, not a mid guy.
He's mid. He's just such a mid shooter.
I mean,
honestly, I would put
Durant.
Honestly,
Kevin Durant?
Seth. Yeah, fair with Kevin Durant. Honestly, Seth Curry has a better 3-point percentage than Steph Curry does. Like Seth is up there.
Yeah, but Seth got to prove that he can stay on the court. Let's not start the Seth fest because he's back in Dallas now.
I mean, he still. What did he shoot last year? He still shot 40% from 3. He shot 45% with Philly 2 years ago. 45% from 3.
Buddy's in there. I'm not gonna lie to you. It sounds weird, but Buddy Hield's in. I'd still go
That's
Damian.
what I'm saying.
Like, yeah, Buddy's in there. He's top 5. He's not top 2. He said top 2.
Okay, top 5, not top 2. I can deal with that. Buddy Hield, though, now looking for an offer from the Pacers. Apparently, he didn't get an offer he liked. He's coming off of a 4-year, $94 million deal that he signed with the Kings a couple years ago, which is wild to think about. Here are some contracts that have been signed recently where you're like, okay, if Buddy Hield didn't like the deal he got, who's a comparable deal that got signed recently that he could be compared to? Here's the high end. This is maybe the one Buddy hoped he would get that he's not going to get. Cam Johnson signed a 4-year, $108 million deal. That's about $27 million per year, which is only like $12 million more than what Buddy signed for 3 years ago, which is kind of wild, but I don't think Buddy's getting that one, right? The 4-year, 108.
He's probably not going to get it, but can we make an argument against him getting it?
Against him? Yeah, go.
Like, no, I'm saying, can we make an argument for him?
Absolutely, I can make one. He doesn't bring enough to the table. The problem is with these guys now, your Duncan Robinsons, your Davis Bertans, your Tim Hardaway Jr.'s, your Buddy Hield, like your Seth Curry's even. Like you bring something to the table. Elite shooting. Amazing. Love that. Great. Perfect. Needs shooting in today's NBA. You can't just bring shooting. You got to bring something else. You got to, Joe Harris, you got to bring something else to the table at this point in your career, because if you're just a shooter, you can get exposed on defense. And if you get exposed on defense now in the NBA, you've got to be elite on the other end doing multiple. You've got to be Luka, Trae Young. Like, you've got to be these guys that are just so dynamic. They can do multiple things on the other end to make up for it, or be in a special scenario where defense doesn't matter that much at this point, right? And so for these guys, like, they're starting to get phased out of these huge deals that they signed. Like, the league's kind of overcorrecting now when it comes to these guys. Like, but he's not going to get a 4-year, $94 million deal from somebody, because what he does is not as valuable, because everybody shoots now.
Yeah. But do you shoot at a 42% clip on 8 threes? Like, that's
but how much is he giving back on the other end?
Nothing.
Right?
I mean, I get you, but like 42 is the elite of the elites. That's Stephen Curry. 42% from 3 last year is probably Stephen Curry.
He's top 5.
Like, that's the elite of the elites in 3-point shooting. I think that I could make an argument and say, and this is the thing, only on 8 threes a game, only on probably how many shots did he actually take a game last year?
13.
13 shots a game. If he goes to a situation where they ask him to do more than just be that, I can't say Buddy Hield can't do that. I think that he's just in situations where he doesn't need to, because, right, there was Tyrese Halliburton most of the season. Now they've added in a Benedict Mathurin down there who's taking some shots. Like, I like what that Pacers team is. I would rather see Buddy Hield there. I think on the right team, Buddy Hield could get that contract.
A $27 million per year?
The wrong. But it's also, right, like, what's...
Here's
that's the hard part. I got to have a calculator. What percentage of the cap is everything?
Well, I got another comparable one for you. Dylan Brooks just signed for 4 years, signed for 4 years, $90 million, which is basically the deal Buddy Hield's coming off of right now. It's $22.5 million per year. You think Buddy should be getting as much as Dylan Brooks just got?
That's tough, because I want to say that Buddy Hield can get more, because I mean, Dylan Brooks had an awful shooting season last year, but.
Now the market propped him up a little bit, because the Rockets had that money, they had to spend it.
And Team Canada makes him feel a lot better. It makes you feel a lot better about the signing right now. Let's be real.
Rafael Stone doesn't have enough to feel good about this offseason, so maybe the Dylan Brooks one makes him feel just a little better.
I mean, like, I would. That's a tough one.
I got one more. I got a couple more for you. Josh Hart, 4 years, $81 million. He should
get more than that.
He just signed that extension, and so he's making $20 million per year. So you think Buddy Hield should make more than Josh Hart right now?
I think in between what we just said, between
Dylan Brooks and Josh Hart. So he's not making the same deal he just got, which is why we're in the situation with Buddy Hield, I think, is he's like, hey, I just made that deal. Can I either do that deal again, or I should be making more, which, hey, all of us would do at a certain point, right? Like, we're going to go to lockdown at some point and be like, hey, we're making this, but can we raise it up more?
Tell me what day that is. I'll be there. No, but
we're going to the table. We're going on strike.
I think that'd be wild.
It would be virtual. We'd all be in.
They would just look at us and be like, "You haven't been here anyway." Like, whoa,
we're just all in a StreamYard room, just like hanging out, and like we're live streaming from all the channels at once.
No, we won't go.
Like inadvertently creating content for them. Like, damn, we screwed ourselves on this one.
It's just us staring into the screen, and it gets millions of views.
It gets millions of views. Yeah, we wish. 2 more. Colin Sexton, 4 years, $72 million deal. He just signed recently. That's 18 a year.
Yeah, I'm still at more.
And then Jordan Clarkson, 3 years, $53 million. That's $17.6 million per.
I think that's Jordan Clarkson taking a team-friendly deal.
I think he took a
lot more than that.
I think he got a little bit of a cut too. But yeah, those are the deals that I'm looking at that are comparable to Buddy Hield. And you're like, all right, where does he fit in that range of those salaries? So I'm interested to hear what people have to say. Another one that's interesting is in 2021, Evan Fournier signed a 4-year, $78 million deal.
I feel bad for Evan Fournier now hearing him as a podcaster, because he's just like, bro, like they ruined me. Like they actually ruined people in the NBA. And I was just like,
there's a lot of players coming out. Did you hear?
Actually sad. Like,
did you hear Austin Rivers today on Bill Simmons was talking about how his situation and how he got screwed in a couple spots. And you're like, man, being an NBA player, it's tough. But all right, coming up, let's talk
millions.
Coming up, let's talk about trades for Buddy Hield. I got some options. I got some trades out there, maybe some to the east, maybe some to the west. Talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Jace Medical. Got my Jace case right here. I got it.
Yo, I didn't know what was happening.
I got my Jace case in the mail.
The bills. I was so thrown off.
There you go. I got him right here. What Jace does, Jace Medical, Jace Case provides 5 life-saving antibiotics for emergency use. All it takes is a Jace Case to fill out a simple online form. I did it. I got mine. And in some cases, you had to jump on a quick call with our board-certified physicians. I didn't have to do that. Didn't have any previous conditions or anything like that. But if you do, it's easy, and you can also get ongoing care from physicians on treatment-related questions. It's doctor-created, doctor-recommended. You don't want to get caught unprepared. This is something I had never thought about before. What if I'm caught in a situation with an infection where I can't get, treatment, or I'm traveling or something like that, or supply chains break down? This is something that I can go back to that I know that my family is taking care of with Jace and Jace Medical. Save more than $360 by getting these life-saving antibiotics with Jace Medical. Plus, you can get an additional $20 off by using the code LOCKED. That's all caps, one word, locked on. Check out jacemedical.com, Jace, J-A-S-E medical.com. Again, that promo code is locked on, all one word, all caps, jacemedical.com. Use the promo code LOCKED. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA, being part of the show, part of the Everydayers crew. Tomorrow, Adam Mares, Wes Goldberg, talking more NBA. I'm sure some Lillard story will come out. They've done Lillard the last 2 days, so if you want to hear about Lillard, go listen to yesterday and the day before that with some great podcasters as well. But today we're talking about Buddy Hield, because Buddy Hield is in the news today. He is asking for a trade from the Pacers. The Pacers are obliging because they didn't come to an agreement with his contract negotiation extensions. So we talked about some salaries that Buddy Hield could be asking for, some comparable contracts. Let's talk about some actual trades, though. All right, I'm going to throw out a trade. I haven't looked deep into the salaries. I know the salaries match. I haven't looked deep into, well, what does this mean for the second apron and the luxury tax and all that? So there could be some little things in there. Let me know in the comment section if I get any of those messed up. But all right, tell me yes or no. Who says no in this scenario? You got Memphis. They looked pretty good with a Luke Kennard in their lineup in the playoffs last year. They need another shooter. They needed one more guy that can hit a shot. And Luke Kennard was just a breath of fresh air. Listening to Joe Mullinax and DeMichael Cole on Locked On Grizzlies talk about Nuke Kennard, as they call him, just like he was manna from heaven. He was just like this incredible. And I'm like, we're talking about Luke Kennard, right? Like we're talking, which he should be up there for best shooter in the NBA too. But I think Buddy's better. You can do Luke Kennard and Josh Christopher. That gets you to about $17 million. Buddy's making 19. I think you can make that trade. Who says no to that one?
I'd do that. I think that Memphis, especially with the rebuilt team, I think Buddy fits in with that culture. Hopefully, right, the good side of that culture, not the we know. But I like the aspect of Buddy Hield going to a team that has Marcus Smart already as a leader establishing himself in there. You add Ja Morant into that. And to me, right, the Ja Morant to Buddy Hield aspect could be something that could even save Ja Morant's body, because we know how Ja attacks the paint. He's going in there, reckless abandonment. I'm jumping full height on somebody 7'6". Am I going to end up on the ground? 99.9% sure that's going to happen. Maybe this changes his game from, instead of going up and attacking, you've got that guy that you can guarantee in the corner, kick out to a guy like Buddy Hield, knock it down a 3-ball, so the Ja doesn't have to risk his body. And I think it makes up for the fact that Ja just, right, like the 3-ball hasn't come along like he's wanted it to. And that's kind of where you're looking at. And a better shooter than Luke Kennard, just enough better that I think I'd be on board for this deal.
Yeah, you get a chance with a guy like Christopher. It doesn't have to be Christopher. It could be David Roddy, who's making $2.7 million. It could be John Conchar. Like, it could be they just need one more salary to throw in that deal. Yeah. So maybe the Pacers get a chance on that. But if you're the Pacers, you just talked about the Grizzlies side. For the Pacers side of it, Luke Kennard making $14.7 million. Then he has a team option next year at $14.7. That could actually be a positive thing for the Pacers, because they could pick that option up if they want to keep him for another year and not just lose the player, and Buddy Hield for nothing. At that point, Luke Kennard also fits a demographic that the Pacers and Pacers fans seem to like, to go along with some other players that have done well for them. I also may fit that demographic.
Well done, Nick.
Thank you.
I did not see you taking it there. I was absolutely going to take it there.
Wait,
1,000 points to you, my good sir.
For any Indiana Pacers trades that acquire a white player, and for any Dallas Mavericks players or trades that acquire a white player, you've got to make the joke. It's just got to be made. How many Gordon Hayward to the Mavericks jokes have I made in the past? So
how many of them were jokes?
Now the preferred.
It's a dangerous game you play, and I respect you for playing it.
But the Pacers get almost the same player in Luke Kennard, from Buddy Hield. Luke Kennard's not as good of a player, and so but maybe they do that deal. Dallas,
I wouldn't be mad at that. I wouldn't be mad at that at all.
Dallas, a Tim Hardaway Jr. straight up for Buddy Hield. We talked about it on Locked On Mavs today, but the case on the Mavericks side of it is Buddy Hield loves Dallas. He works out in Dallas all the time. This is a place that maybe he would want to be long term. Maybe he takes a little bit of a team friendly deal instead of what he wants to stay in Indiana.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true.
You get the small market Indiana tax, but the Mavs could also get off of Tim Hardaway Jr.'s last year of his deal. He's got 2 years left on his deal. It's descending. It's a smaller contract than Buddy's, but you get 2 years. And so the Mavericks get off of that money a little early. Maybe they clear up some space next season. You get to try with Buddy and see what happens. They could also continue with him. And then on the Pacers side of things, you get 2 years of Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway has already played in Rick Carlisle's system, so you've already got familiarity there. And then maybe he is happier there than a Buddy Hield would be. And so you just kind of swap guys basically at that point.
Only question that I would say, even for the Mavericks, I know that like Tim Hardaway is kind of you guys bugaboo. Got to make sure you say that right. Don't RG3 it. Where like he's just still on the team, and I said bugaboo. We're good. Okay. Where he's just still on the team. No, Luke Kennard. And
the AI is not going to get the subtitles right on that
one. The AI is. I knew it. I knew it.
Coming for our necks with those subtitles.
But no, I like realistically though, you're trading for Buddy Hield for a much worse defender on a team that absolutely needs defense.
Okay,
I'm not saying Tim Hardaway's elite.
As someone that has watched Tim Hardaway for several years now, there is not much difference between the Buddy Hield defense and the Tim Hardaway defense. Now, I do think Tim Hardaway is more athletic as a player, so maybe that helps in screen navigation and recovering and rotating like the Mavericks defense requires. But you're not feeling bad if you're going from Tim Hardaway to Buddy defensively.
Whatever you're taking is now gone completely because Buddy Hield's giving you nothing defensively, realistically, right? Like
Tim really doesn't either.
And there's that. If the Mavericks game plan, I guess, is to just go in here and try to outscore everybody, I think that makes perfect sense. Tim Hardaway to Indiana, I guess, makes sense as well, like you said about Rick Carlisle's system. But
yeah,
it's an interesting one.
I got a couple more. Could this be the Brogdon team? Send him back to the Pacers. send Buddy Hield to the Celtics.
That would suck. That would suck. I'd feel so bad for Malcolm Brogdon.
For Brogdon, like he's in trade rumors, and then all of a sudden he goes to the place where he requested a trade. That's my joke one. I don't think that's real at all.
Well, he's hurt, so there's that. And I think the injury is actually more serious than what it is. Yeah.
Here's a real one.
Do it.
The Knicks. They need another shooter. They've got one on the bench they're not really using. Evan Fournier, and like let's say the Knicks send a pick. Okay, we get off of Fournier's contract and we get Buddy Hield instead. Maybe the Pacers could revitalize Evan Fournier. I mean, we just saw him in FIBA. I mean, he's still can be a fine basketball player. He represents the demographic, and you've got like I think you maybe get some draft capital from him.
Let me ask you this: do you think that
Fournier's got a team option second year, so the Pacers can just get off that money if they want?
You're coming with logic right now, right? And logic's great. I'm so glad that we have that on this show. I think it's an excellent asset to have. But do you think that Thomas Joseph Thibodeau is going to have Buddy Hield?
How many on his Thibodeau team references can we get in a row?
With how poorly he is Evan Fournier couldn't get on the team.
You know what? That's totally fair. I totally didn't think that one through. I'm with you. No. Yep.
I love the logic of it. But Tom Thibodeau would see Buddy Hield and be like, go
ice. Ice.
Stop smiling.
No, that one's not working. I'm with you on that one. All right, that ends the segment because he can't be traded. He cannot be traded to the Knicks. There you go. Let us know.
My favorite thing, the Pacers still don't trade with any team that beat them in like the 90s. Like, there's no shot at Miami. There's no shot at the Bulls.
Yeah, Knicks probably not. Well, I guess they
trade. There's literally no shot.
They just traded Obi Toppin, so we can't say that. So
they kind of just gave him away.
I mean, it's still a transaction. A call was made to the league office.
Who made it? Is Tom making the calls? Adam. Play up, Adam.
The UN was called in. There have been international negotiations that have happened between the two. All right, coming up, let's play where we count on the most interesting, fun things in the NBA, including Charles Barkley talking about a star on the Lakers, Gilbert Arenas going at Hakeem, just putting him on blast, and more. We'll talk about that coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs. They have these stretch khaki shorts that are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. They look awesome. You can wear them sans underwear if you'd like as well. They've got this anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. I can attest, I've tried it both ways. With and without underwear, works either way. You can do either one. So whatever comfortability you have, it's like you go to a massage. They say undress to your comfortability. With Bird Dogs, you can undress to your comfortability. Pat has removed his headphones. The slowly removing of the headphones got me. Bird Dogs, you can go check out Bird Dogs. See everything they have, not just the shorts. They have joggers, they have pants as well. Go to birddogs.com. Pat has left. He's left the building. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA or enter the promo code LockedOnNBA at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnNBA for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off or leave the studio. We promise you that. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us on Locked On NBA, making us part of your day, or being part of this show, being an everydayer. We've got a daily Locked On show that covers your team every day. I host the Locked On Mavericks show, covering the Mavs 5 days a week. Pat and Hayes cover the Bulls and Chicago on Locked On Bulls. Check the link in the description to find a team that the show that covers your team every day. I can't get over Pat taking off his headphones during the ad.
That was more than I needed to know about you, my guy. I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, listen, we've all had those
days. I was wearing them now.
All men have had
in my leisure time, non-podcasting.
Do you have pants on right now, my good son?
Define pants.
Okay, all right, okay. He's got on like Grinch underwear right now, dog. So he's rocking here on the pod.
It's like
the dangerous.
It's the classic cartoon, white with red hearts all over. It's the classic. The classic.
With myself, I can't miss that.
I can't miss that. I can't. All right, let's play.
Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it up. Count it.
Where we count out the most interesting, fun things in the NBA. Charles Barkley recently talked about the Lakers and said, I can't do a Charles Barkley. I'm not going to try. At some point, LeBron's going to have to say, AD, damn, I'm 100 years old. It's about time for you to be the best player. My question is,
count it up.
Will it ever happen? And when will AD be the better player on the Lakers than LeBron James?
No, but
never. They'll never intersect.
No.
The arcs will be the same.
I just don't believe that AD. Listen, AD's elite when he's on the court, right? But the same question, the same talk always comes up when he's not on the court. Yep. You can't have that conversation. And the realistic thing is, whether it's by his fault or not, there's too many times where and no matter what the games are, right? Like we're talking about Anthony Davis trying to ramp himself back up to being that guy. He played 56 games last year. He played 40 the year before that, 36 the year before that, and then 62 to 1 year where they actually win the championship, right? And it's just the same conversation continues to happen of, hey, listen, this guy's elite. This guy's amazing. But so much of the season is him ramping his body back up to get himself in order. There's not enough. LeBron's body is at peak performance every time. Like, now you're trying to. That's what you're gonna do.
Said it.
That's what you're gonna do.
You didn't have to say every time.
Every yeah.
Pause.
Yeah. I'll hold that one. That's on me. It's every game, right? Every game.
Every time.
Every time. What? What's he doing? What's he doing over there? No, his body's at peak performance every game.
There you
go. Even right, like when he has to have the rest days and stuff like that worked in, you know that when Bron's on the court, what he's going to give you. I don't know that with Anthony Davis because there's too much time of he's got to get ready. He's not right. He's getting himself back into it. And that's just the situation that he's in.
LeBron averaged 29 points, 8 boards, 7 assists last year. Like, he's 38. It's gonna be 39 in December. Like, if you want AD to be the best player, it depends on your definition of best player, because I think overall AD is bringing so much on the defensive end and can bring a ton on the offensive end that you could say, all right, collectively, with you put the whole game together, he's maybe the best player right now. The problem is AD, I don't think he's ever going to be that go-to scorer that you think of when you think of best player. He's not ever going to hit the Jordan levels, the Jokic levels of, all right, I need a bucket, I need something to happen on offense. I'm going to give it to AD, and it's going to happen. We've been waiting for that. And you saw stretches of it last year. That stretch where he looked like an MVP candidate last year, that's the AD. But we're never going to get that AD all the time or for a whole season, right? Because the injuries, the ramping up, like you alluded to, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm kind of with you. I think it won't happen because it's not even as much about AD. It's about LeBron is just not slowing down as quickly as we thought, at least statistically. And so they're never going to intersect like that.
No, I'm with you 100%. And I think, right, like the matchups that we thought AD would dominate his whole career, we're starting to see those other guys catch up. Joel Embiid, Giannis, all of those guys, right? So
they had to put Rui on Jokic. That was the big change that they made. I mean, the conversation ends there. Gilbert Arenas. That's it. That's the end of that segment.
You said it.
Gilbert Arenas blasts Hakeem Olajuwon for charging $50,000 for a workout. He said many things. It's a 2.5-minute video. Whoever his poor producer is that had to watch Gilbert Arenas' probably 40-minute rant about this and then cut it down to quick, choppy, like a 2.5-minute clip. I salute you because you had to go through a lot. A couple of things he said. He ain't been good since the 90s. That means any moves from the 2000s, he don't know. Who the F you going to do those moves on? Wembanyama? He said, he said $50,000 a lot. He's stealing money. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants lessons from Hakeem. My question is,
count it up.
Is there a player in the NBA that couldn't benefit from Hakeem Olajuwon footwork drill or footwork workout right now?
Listen, I think that when you talk about especially the big men down in the post, they're so used to shooting, their footwork isn't developed because they come to the NBA and they've been shooters their whole career. I think there's even some guys who are tenured, right? Like, my God, Rudy Gobert. Like, the rim's right there. You can't get a little more grace, a little more footwork around the bucket right there.
Problem is, you got to catch the ball first before you.
Well, there is that. You know what I mean? And, a lot of picks. But
I'm so glad we can slander Rudy Gobert again on this network. Now that he's not on the Jazz anymore. It's so liberating. We don't have to worry about it.
And the tough part is, right, I was like, no, it's Donovan Mitchell's fault, even though he is doing the exact same thing with Evan Mobley, which is hilarious. It's like, it's Donovan Mitchell's fault. And then you see him and it's like, well, you're not helping me when you just drop passes every time they come your direction. You play a sport with the ball and you're scared of it a little bit. That's concerning. But no, I think there's a need for big man footwork in the NBA, and there's going to be people to get back to it.
Is it the 50,000 that's too much here for Gilbert? If it was like 10,000, if it was 5K, would he be going as hard at this? I mean, it is Hakeem. You're getting a Hall of Famer teach you.
Here's the thing, though, right? Can somebody see Hakeem's footwork and teach me the same thing or the same move or the same? Does somebody perfect Hakeem's footwork for cheaper? Like, you're paying the $50K because it's Hakeem, and you can go to somebody and be like, I got trained by Hakeem, right? Like, we know why you're charging the $50K, why you're paying the $50K. And realistically, all the people everybody I hear that he teaches this stuff to, one, I never see any of the moves that go in, but I do see the footwork on the floor. But two, nobody's as good as Hakeem, so like, it doesn't even matter. It's not like they're getting the footwork and they're going down there dominating.
He worked out with Dwight Howard, right? I don't know if that one ever worked. He worked out with Alfred.
Nice post game.
He worked out with your boy Alfred Şengün.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That's the one that I can see the most. That's the one. If that's the case,
Albie may have paid the $50K.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If the team paid that for sure. If that's the case,
I don't know.
He's the only one that I've seen in the NBA that's actually put it to use.
Jokic woke up with it one day. He's like, I can.
Jokic just had it. He was just
I already got this. 50 for what? Another horse? Like, no. Trending on Reddit this week, the most delusional things a player has ever said. You gotta come out with the number one. So I'm gonna name one, and then you tell me if the one that I say next is more delusional than the one before it.
Count it up.
Tristan Thompson once said that the East still runs through Cleveland the year after LeBron left. Okay.
That might be one. That's tough.
That was brutal.
That's tough.
The Minnesota Timberwolves once offered Latrell Sprewell a 3-year, $21 million contract extension, a substantial pay cut, but he claimed to feel insulted by the offer. He publicly expressed outrage, declaring, "I have a family to feed." He declined the extension, and the Timberwolves offered him nothing after that. He didn't get a contract.
That was the end of his career.
That was it. Could have taken $21 million instead.
You know what though? He got bread though. He had bread already by that point.
He had a family to feed, though.
A family to feed is crazy. I'm not going to lie to you.
Is it more or less delusional than Tristan Thompson?
That's less, but it's still bad. Like, what do you got? Eddie Curry's family over there?
It's Steven Adams. It's Steven Adams' whole family. Steven Adams with like all 7 of his brothers and sisters that are the same size and all athletes. Sasha Vujacic, who used to play for the Lakers, once stated he could get 30 anytime. His career high in the NBA is 29. It's pretty bad.
You know what? I'm going to say that's 2 right now. That's above the Sprewell because I do think there's a lot of players who could get 30 that just don't.
Yeah, fair. Austin Rivers definitely thinks he can at this point. Rasheed Wallace once said that LeBron wouldn't be successful in Rasheed's era, in his era.
Hold on. This one. Tristan's still winning. It's tough, but now this is 2.
Let me tell you, LeBron was drafted in Rasheed Wallace's like 7th year in the NBA. So
bro, no, this is my favorite part is you played him in the playoffs.
I know. That's what he said.
And almost lost.
I know.
Like what? And didn't they lose 1 year? Didn't they lose 2
Definitely. Definitely.
He would have survived in our era.
Never would. He never. This is your era, and he beat.
Never lost.
Is it more delusional than Tristan Thompson saying the East still runs?
Tristan is bad. Tristan's all time.
This one goes ahead of Sasha Vujicic.
This is ahead of Sasha.
Okay. One time, Monte Ellis said, I would put myself in the same category as D Wade. At the end of the day, the only thing that he has that I don't have is more wins and 2 championships. That's it.
All right, that's number one. That's number one.
Monte Ellis have it all.
Yeah, and he went out and won like multiple more champions. What did he get? He got one. Well, he got one more. He only got one more after
2 championships.
Like, yeah, he's got 3 now.
Oh.
That's bad. That's all time bad. Only difference, I guess I get it from a competitor standpoint. Like, he ain't better than me. But I don't.
You can't say the only difference between him and me is wins and 2 championships. Like, you can't go all the way. All right, last one. At some point recently, John Morant said, "I'm fine in the West." That one's tough.
I'm gonna put that one 3. That's still below Tristan.
Below Tristan, above Rashid. It's
no.
That's gonna be it's
Sheed
above Sasha. Below.
Sheed is crazy. She just forgot that he played against LeBron. She forgot he lost to LeBron. Like,
in my era.
That's a wild one, bro.
Oh my gosh. There you go.
Maybe Sheed is just saying when he was drafted. I don't know.
Let us know what's the most delusional thing. Let us know where you think Buddy Hield will go. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On NBA.
Bye.
Boom.